Hello everyone and welcome to the catch-all for the week of November 7th. I am Josh Silverman, reporting on news written by myself and Ryan Furster. So, we didn't do an episode last week. I know I said we weren't going to do that again, but Extra Life, timing was bad and we just still don't have a full good great pipeline worked out for this. But today, we've got news for you. You're all a bunch of hacks talking a little bit about Sombra. I've got no strings to hold me down, possibly having the Vive and other VR headsets be wireless. And then a little bit of N7 Day stuff for you. So sit back and enjoy. Possibly a shorter episode, possibly not. We'll see. After what was an excruciating ARG experience, all 13 countdown timers collided and Blizzard has revealed their newest character for their hit team-based shooter, Overwatch. Sombra, a hacker by trade, made her appearance at BlizzCon 2016 in Anaheim by, hacking into a video presentation. A few of us have had the opportunity to try her out on the Overwatch public test realm, and in the right hands, her mix of stealth and map play could be very potent. Sombra is currently available on the PTR and is set to likely be released by the end of the year. We discussed Sombra a little bit on this past week's podcast based on Brad's analysis of her. Sounds like she might be a bit overpowered in her current state, but we all hope to get our hands on her a little bit more and really test her out to see what she can do in Overwatch. Vive has announced that in the first quarter of 2017, they'll be releasing a peripheral that will make their experience able to go wireless with very little noticeable difference. Not many specs have been released other than touting a battery power of about 1.5 hours. We believe they'll likely use Bluetooth for the experience, but also deeply hope that they'll use ocular cranial implants powered by the recycled Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Thanks for that, Ryan. So wireless Vive, interesting idea. Not really much to go on with that as of this time. Curious to see what can possibly happen to that. Right now, the pre-orders and pre-sales are only available in China, so by the time it's US bound and comes to the West, hopefully we'll have a little better idea of how exactly this thing works. We're going to keep N7 Day and Mass Effect news brief this week, or at least do our best to do so, as we spend 30 minutes poring over everything during this week's podcast. There are some key things to note, however. First off, we now have confirmation that the start of Mass Effect Andromeda starts between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, while the meat of the story takes place 600 years later in the Andromeda Galaxy. The team are aiming for a lighter tone for the story, but promise that the darker, difficult choices are still intact. The basis behind the lighter tone is that your character and team are not combat veterans like Shepard and their team. Instead, they're much younger and inexperienced. Andromeda will also be doing away with classes, at least in the traditional Mass Effect sense. Instead of picking a class like Infiltrator or Vanguard at the top of the game, you'll instead drop points into what you wish to use the most. You'll even have the option of tweaking things as you play. Eventually, you will unlock things akin to a prestige class, which will help you focus yourself out. These are expected to be named more in line with classic classes. Another major change is the loss of Paragon and Renegade choices. Instead, the game appears to be taking the Many Shades of Grey approach, which is something most of us here have hoped for. Binary choices are not accurate to real life in most cases, so it's nice to see the games following suit on this. We'll have more news related to Mass Effect in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. If you're looking for a more in-depth analysis of what's been released, I would recommend checking out either BioFan or Lady Insanity on Twitter and YouTube. Both put out high-quality, in-depth looks at the most recent trailer with focus on additional information as it's been released. As far as we go, we will probably be discussing Mass Effect more and more. It's called Constantly Calibrating, so it's safe to assume we'll tackle a lot more. You can expect us to do more after the Game Awards at the beginning of December when the first real gameplay trailer actually gets shown for Mass Effect Andromeda. Otherwise, please go listen to our podcast which released last week. You can just have us, you can hear our kind of reactionary analysis on a lot of different things and news I found. And it's really just mostly me talking for 30 minutes about Mass Effect and other stuff related to the franchise. So that covers the catch-all. Thank you very much for joining me this week. Hope this episode came out well. It was a little bit rushed compared to some others. Again, we're still coming off the Extra Life stuff. Speaking of Extra Life, go to constantcalibrating.com/Extra Life. We're still raising money throughout the rest of the year. We hit our goal. We raised our goal. Let's see if we could maybe get us a little bit closer to this last one. You can see I'm clean shaven because that's what happens when people donate over $500 during the Rooster Teeth segment, which we were on. That being said, you can always find the catch-all, hopefully, every Saturday evening right here on constantcalibrating.com and youtube.com/concalpod. Additional stuff can always be found at Constant Calibrating, facebook.com/constantcalibrating, and you can follow us at Twitter at concalpod. Make sure to check out all of our live streaming stuff, and with that, Let us know if there's other news stories you feel we should have tackled. If you like the format of the show, all these questions are always open to you guys. The comments are there. Please use them as you see fit. And try not to hit a microphone. I bid you a good sign off.